let me ask you another one. There's been talk for a while of the return of Ronda. I don't know how much I believe it. And the reason I say that is, look, you and I live in a small world. Everything you do, Kat, I hear about because I know somebody that's seen you that I talk to, and it comes up. Well, the same thing works with Ronda. I know when she's in the gym. I know how hard she's working. It's just that kind of a world. And I'm not hearing that she's putting in the time, to get back in the ring within, let's say, this calendar year. But the UFC is saying otherwise. They're saying, no, actually, we not only believe she's coming back, we think she'll be back, sometime within the next 3 or 4 months. What do you think of Ronda's status?
So, I will admit that I can be naive, right? And on a few different times, I've been tricked on some things, because people have come to me expecting for me to have inside information on Ronda. One example was last year, actually during this last training camp, one of the students at Alliance came up to me and they're like, oh my gosh, like, Ronda's pregnant. Does that mean she's never fighting again? And blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what? She's pregnant? And, of course, I get online and there's enough evidence to provide that she's pregnant. And I end up, sending her a message telling her I think she'll be a great mom, and I'm bummed and I hope she comes back. And she literally wrote back like, LOL, like they got you. I'm like, oh, so that's embarrassing. And then on another note, I also heard that she was retiring. And, again, I sent her a message as far as gratitude, obviously, that I'm extremely bummed that I wouldn't get a fight again with her if that was the road that she did decide to take. But, that I'm grateful for what she's done for the sport. And, again, she was like, don't get too ahead of yourself yet. I am training. I am thinking what's going on. And I didn't get a clear or concise answer in any direction. But, if I try to do my own math and I look at some of her pictures, Ronda, a lot of us girls in this division, we can get big. We're strong women. Like, we don't walk around 135 pounds. Typically, we're all starving and malnourished at 135 pounds. And right now she looks healthy, but she doesn't look big and out of shape healthy. She looks like fit and like she could be tossing people around. She could be doing her cardio. She could be doing whatever. And I feel like when I look at Ronda, I think of like that show, like Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? Some of her pictures are, have her at some appearance somewhere, and she, looks extremely fit and fight ready. Some of them she looks like a regular, normal woman should look, And so realistically, I don't know what to think or what weight to put on her comeback, but, I do hope she comes back. I do hope I get the chance to avenge my loss, and, I do hope that she, does it for herself, because this is definitely something that she's been a great champion at, and that's the one fight in the world I'd like to fix the most.
I could understand that. You, in fairness, you just never got going. And I've been in your shoes where you work so hard and you're ready and you're prepared for everything, and something happens and you just go, I never got going. Give me a redo. I'm better than that. I have to imagine that's how you felt. I got to imagine that's what you're saying right now. It's just, look, give me a redo. I'm better than what you saw. Am I right?
Absolutely, man. That fight still pisses me off.
Oh, I bet it does. No, that's one that's going to stay with you. You were talking about the highs and lows of the sport a minute ago. That is one of the lows, man. Sometimes our memories, they're not always good ones. It's those bad ones that we lay in bed at night and just think, oh, geez, just give me one more shot. I could have made it 10 minutes. I could have made it 20 minutes. I could have won that match. Give me one more try, but it's hard to get. So if we talk about being matchmaker, let's play with Ronda for a second. So if you bring Ronda back, you got to put her in a main event. She's going on top of the bill. The way her contract worked and the kind of money that she makes, she can't just step in there. You can't just go, okay, let's give her a warm-up fight. Those days are long gone. That's kind of a boxing thing. We don't really see that in MMA. So you got to throw Ronda in there with somebody that's going to sell and going to draw. What do you think happens? Does she go right into Amanda Nunes? Does she come right back into you? Do we do the Misha? Or the current talk, which I'm kind of starting to get on board with a little bit, is a catch weight and getting her and Cyborg together. What do you think?
All of those matchups are interesting. One thing I fought Amanda Nunes and I beat her, and then I fought Ronda next and I lost her. And one thing that is hugely different between them is, the style. Amanda hits extremely hard. I understand Ronda does too, and her style has been evolving as she's been in the sport and in the limelight. Amanda, she hits like a man, for lack of a better term, and that in comparison to my training partners, I guess I'm saying, she is it's an interesting matchup because Ronda is very catchy. She obviously has great striking and a variety of striking, but she's very tricky on the ground and very acrobatic. So and also that being said, I feel like Amanda, although a talented athlete, I don't feel like she has a gas tank. And, after putting my hands on her and getting the finish, I do feel like Amanda has some quit in her, given the right kind of pressure. So, that being said, I feel like that would be an interesting fight. I see Ronda taking it. With Cyborg, again, you have an extremely competitive matchup there. Cyborg is beast, and she comes after your soul. She's there to rip you up and make a point and things like that. Ronda, I feel, is mentally and physically one of the women that would absolutely be game and go toe-to-toe with her own style and staying true to trying to be not only good at what she's good at, but try to beat Cyborg at her own game. So that's a great matchup as well. The weight cutting issue with that is in Ronda's favor. I feel like as much weight as Chris has to cut to get to that point, there is a game plan around how you would want to fight someone like Chris because of, the issues that come with being that dehydrated and malnourished at fight time. Misha, Ronda, I feel like it's been exercised, the idea of them. I feel like the grudge match and the entertainment side of it would be a good throwdown and, obviously put butts in the seats. But Ronda knows what to do with Misha, and granted, Misha can be evolved, but I think when you have that disdain for somebody, is possible to have for Misha, it's, there's a certain way that when you feel that way about someone, it's like that person is not going to beat you. And I feel like Ronda has that valid of a chip on her shoulder that, I feel like she would rather die than let Misha take it an inch. And who was the other one you had just said? A rematch with Holly, I feel like at this point wouldn't make sense because Holly lost 2 fights in a row, as I've lost 2 fights in a row, and I feel like that puts us in a delicate situation as far as, I guess the crazy triangle of everyone who's beat everyone and lost to everyone in the top 10 girls at this point. So, matchmaking sounds like an awesome carousel ride right now. It also sounds like a disaster for a matchmaker all at the same time because no matter what, it's interesting.
Well,
and whoever they put together, it's going to be interesting. This women's division is badass because of the fact that there is really no math to be done on whose skill beats who. It's anyone's night because every single one of these girls goes for blood and fights from the heart.
Yeah, and Kat, I'll tell you, on that point in the depth of your guys' division right now, we didn't even throw in Juliana Pena, who I believe she's undefeated. I think she's at 7-0 right now. Might be 8-0. She's getting some chatter. She's getting some fans behind her. She's in the mix somewhere there too.
Yeah, I'm not sure why she isn't as widely considered. I don't know. Yes, she just beat me, but it wasn't in a fantastic style, and I'll hate to say, and I want to give her credit that she is a great fighter, and she won that fight that night. But, I feel like that fight was a combination of her best night ever and, possibly not my best night ever. So yes, she did get a win over me, and I do feel like I'm a very capable and entertaining and athletic opponent. But, me coming off of a 1.5 year break with a ton of medical issues in between the last 2-3 fights that I've had, my point was really to get in there, and fight and break the ice for my comeback, and with all of those things, I feel like if I was coming from the bottom and she is being on the top, she really should have just pieced me up, but she didn't. She just pulled it off, and only that after I, ragdolled her for a while. So I think it needed to be a bit more impressive for them to really take her seriously. So at this point, they're probably going to make her work a little bit harder for it.